Hey everybody, it's Allison, the Holistic Homesteader, and today we are going to be preparing our chicken coop for the chicks that are coming this week. So this is our chicken coop. We took this shed from my brother-in-law. Oh, it's still a little icy out here. And we partitioned part of it off for the coop itself with some nesting boxes and some roosts. And then this side we have as storage. Now, in a couple days, we have 36 chicks coming. So we are going to fabricate an area right over here on the floor to hold our chicks. And we need to have a separate area this time because we're actually getting laying chickens again. And those chicks stay a lot smaller, a lot longer. So they're gonna need their own safe place away from the meat chickens and our big laying hens. So what we're doing here is just clearing out an area to take these old heavy cornhole boards that we don't use, and we're going to repurpose them as walls for our little chicks to not, so they don't escape. We don't want them walking all over the coop. They need to have a pretty confined area. And we're also going to need to set up some heat lamps. We're going to have a heat lamp over this, and then we're going to have a heat lamp in our big coop too. We already have it strung up. Got to make sure it works and lower it down because the meat chickens, they're going to be in here with the laying chicks for about a week, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks tops. And then those meat chickens are going to be too big. They will literally step on the other chicks and kill them. They're going to just be too big. So they'll have to move over here. Now in this coop, we have a board cut, and we will actually partition this coop in half also, because the meat chickens, they can't fly. They get too fat and heavy. So we have that board that's actually propped up right there. It'll come down and go right in here, and it'll keep the meat chicks on this side so they can't get out into our actual chicken pen. So I'm gonna help Brian figure out a way. Say hi, Brian.
Hello.
We're gonna figure out a way to set this up so that it's safe and so that we don't have to keep messing with it. We'll show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, we just finished up. I'm gonna give you the grand tour. I'm also gonna show you what our actual coop looks like. This is here all the time. What we did here today with this little brooder, that's just a temporary thing. So I'm gonna show you what we did. So we took these 2 old cornhole boards. We don't ever really use these. These are so heavy. They are made with 2x4s. They are the heaviest cornhole boards I've ever seen. So we thought, well, instead of getting rid of them or burning them, let's repurpose them. So we know we have 36 chicks on the way. We need a large area to put them. And this time is kind of an unusual situation where we are going to have 2 different types of chicks. One type is going to get big fast, the other type isn't. So the baby layer chickens are going to stay in here, and then we'll move the meat chickens over to our big coop, And then once these guys are ready to leave here, we're going to kick the meat chickens outside because they're going to be big enough by then. And then our little baby laying hens are going to move into here. So we're kind of always like rotating chickens, but it's just a cost-effective way, and honestly we just love to repurpose anything we can and save money. So we have cardboard covering the actual hole for the cornhole bags. These are screwed to the wall, so they're not going to flop over. They are stand put. They're not going to squish any of our little chickies. Now, really, chicks are pretty simple. They need a warm, dry area. So underneath all of this, we have a big sheet of cardboard that actually runs up the wall too. We did that just for easy cleaning. If I would have had a tarp, I would have used that, but we don't even have a tarp right now, so we're like, screw it, we'll just use some cardboard. Now we cover that with a lot of pine shavings. We get the flake shaving, and then, you know, I love diatomaceous earth. There's my big old bag of it, just about empty, food grade diatomaceous earth. I added about 2 cups of that. You can see some right in there still sprinkled. I just sprinkle it all over, try to mix it in really well. It just helps kill any kind of bugs, and it keeps the chicks healthier, I think, too. So you got the dry part. Now you got the warm part. We have 2 heat lamps set up this time. When we separate our chicks, one of these lamps is going to go over here onto this side. And we have this all strung up just with ropes and pulleys. Goes up and over. So this yellow string one is the one that is going to go back up and over, and then it'll drop down. There's the pulley. It'll drop down and hang in the main coop. Now, because we have heat lamps in here, the water will stay like fresh. It won't freeze. And I use one of these big 3-gallon waterers, and that'll get changed every day, maybe twice a day. It's just a great big waterer. This cap transfers down here, and then you fill it through the top, and then when you're ready to give it to your chicks, you unscrew this from here, the water comes out, and then you store the cap up here. The water level stays right above this hole, and then it's just self-feeding. And I've never had an issue with this kind of water leaking. The only thing I can say is if this is on a tilt, it will leak. If the water level drops below, it's just going to keep feeding and feeding and feeding. So you got to make sure you're on a level surface. Now, because I'm getting ice falling in here from outside, it's still really icy out there. Because we have so many chicks, I'm going to actually just use a full-size gallon feeder. This is organic chick food. I have a big bag of it here. Nature's Best organic feed. This is all that I use. I might use another brand of organic food, but I only use organic feed for my chickens. You pay a little bit more, but I like that guarantee of organic food and organic eggs, organic meat chickens. It's just the way we like to go. So we got our feed. We have lots of extra pine shavings because this is going to get changed. Chicks poop a lot. So we change the pine shavings probably every 2 weeks or more, especially the bigger that they get. On a bigger pen like this, I don't change it as much. I just layer it. Layer and layer and layer, and then I clean it like every 3 months. So my chickens, free range all the time. They're not really in the coop very much as it is. So it doesn't get all that dirty. So we actually started getting eggs. Look, I found 2 eggs. Yay! The sleds are here because when I clean my coop, I put a sled right outside here, and then I shovel the pine shavings. I'll move this. I'll explain that in a minute. I move the pine shavings. I shovel the pine shavings, I should say, from in there, and I just shovel them and boop, dump them right into a sled, and then I just drag the sled over to my garden, and I use it as compost and like an insulator in my garden. It's just more efficient that way. Everybody knows, don't use the purple sleds, they're mom's for the coop. I have lots of empty egg cartons people have saved for me. This garbage can has a hole in the bottom. You can't see it right now, but this is what we use to butcher our turkeys. Works the same way as like a funnel for taking the heads off chickens. It's just large scale. What else do we have here? In these garbage cans is where we keep the food. Now I have a surplus of food right now, so we're gonna finish off this bag of chick feed first, and then we're gonna use this bag. And that way, you know, obviously rodents and stuff can't get into these metal tins, so we're gonna use up the bag stuff first. And then here is just to show you, that's just full of organic chick food. Yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of the tour here. Over here on the actual coop side, zoom out a little bit here, we have a couple of roosts. We have a roost right there, and then over on this side we have 2 more roosts. Up here is kind of where we keep, these are for our heat lamps. They are not getting plugged in yet. This is just an extension cord that runs from our other shed. And this is one clever tip for keeping chickens in the winter. Everybody's always like, what do you do for water, water? We use a heated dog water bowl. We got that at Tractor Supply, and it works awesome. It is so much easier to clean. It's so much easier to fill. It takes about 1.5 gallons, I believe. So with our chickens, we clean this about every other day, and it just works really well. It's just a super simple way to have fresh water for your animals in the winter, especially like little animals like chickens. So that's our big coop. You can see it's getting pretty filled with pine shavings. This is going to get cleaned before I split these chicks. So I'm not going to clean yet. I'm going to wait until these guys are ready to be split. All right. Oh, the last thing, this little pole. This was like I guess I got this at the Dollar General or something, and it's supposed to be, I assume, for a dog because it has a big bone decoration. But I use this for water for all of my chickens. Now, whenever I'm gonna have here sooner than later, I'm gonna have 39 fully functioning, growing, walking chickens in just a matter of weeks. That's a lot of water, and it's going to be getting into warmer temperatures, so they're going to be up and moving and walking and drinking a lot more. So I actually put this out in my chicken pen, and we fill this with water. Don't fill it the whole way, just high enough that they can get their heads over and get a drink. The rain helps fill it. We can dump it out and clean it if we need to, but it's just an easy way to have a lot of water available for chickens in a in a confined area. So just use a dog swimming pool. Another thing that we've used for a water keeper is sleds. Sleds are so versatile, but it's a great height. You know, if you have younger birds that want to be outside in a pen and stuff, and you want a large amount of water, use a sled. That holds a couple gallons of water, and it's the perfect height for those little chicks, little birds that are like a month, 6 weeks old. So we use whatever we can think of. We repurpose anything we can think of, and just try to save a buck where we can, and just be frugal and eco-minded in a lot of ways. In here, I don't think I explained this, I like to keep my water and my food up off the ground, and so I'll probably put the water over there, the water, and then the food will hang out over here. I just like to keep it up. I feel like when you keep it up off the ground a little bit, because chicks like to scratch and throw things around, and they're always getting these shavings and poop in the water. So if you keep it up a little bit, it keeps them from scratching stuff into the water. All right, everybody, I think that's all the tips that I have for that. I will show you another video coming up of how I clean all of this and the steps that I take. I've never had any issues, thankfully, with any kind of bugs or situations with my chickens, so I hope that means I'm doing something right when it comes to raising chickens. And I'm also going to show you a video on the chicks' arrival and how cute they are, and some of the tips I have for keeping chicks, because the first few days are usually pretty sketchy when it comes to the baby birds. All right, everybody, I appreciate you guys so much. I think I'm gonna go and maybe bundle up a little more and enjoy an icy walk. All the ice is melting finally. It's just a beautiful day. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. We'll talk to you later.